Well, the decision on same-sex marriage by the Supreme Court Friday has obviously affected millions across the state and across the country. Some celebrate, while others aren't so happy about the ruling. Joining me now, Brad Wheeler with the San Antonio Family Association. Brad, I asked Robert just a minute ago, what was his immediate reaction when you heard the news? How about yours? What was your reaction?
Well, first, Barry, I want to thank you for having us on here to be able to share another perspective on the decision what took place. And quite frankly, when I heard about the decision, I wasn't surprised at all. It's actually the decision that I thought would come down from the court. It's not the decision that I wanted from the court. I don't think it's a good decision. I don't think it's good law. I think when you read through the dissents, it shows the dramatic lengths that the court went to in the majority to make the decision. I think particularly looking at Robert's dissent, and he talks about how the core definition of marriage has now been changed. And that's essentially what the Supreme Court did. They changed the definition of marriage. If you go back thousands of years, marriage has always been identified as a union between a man and a woman. That's just a fact in the history of the country, and the court has imposed a definition that was completely unknown until 15 years ago. So it's quite a significant decision.
Most of the opposition comes from a religious-based angle. And again, what you just said about going back thousands of years, that was defined from a religious angle. There is that perception of fanaticism on the right from this.
I don't think it's just a religious angle. If you look back for thousands of years, I'm pretty sure the ancient Greeks and the Romans weren't all religious Christian people or such that would have an extreme view of this. And so I don't think it's just religious. It's also a natural law perspective. It's also been good public policy. And the data also backs up that children need a father and mother, and that they do best in a home where there is a father and mother. So I don't think it's just a religious thing. No, I think there is a big religious component as far as how this decision actually impacts religious freedom. And, I heard earlier when Robert was talking about business owners and public accommodation laws and how you need to provide services. And again, there seems to be this idea that a person's exercise of their religion is limited either to just their beliefs or to their houses of worship. But if you do look at the religious aspect, for Christians at least, the Bible says whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all the glory of God. Their faith impacts all aspects. And so in essence, say the case like you look at Elaine's photography in New Mexico, where Judge Richard Boston said in his concurring opinion that the price you pay in a civil society basically is the sacrifice of your religious freedom at work. Well, that's asking Christians to actually participate in a ceremony and in some sense a religious service that they don't necessarily agree with and that their conscience objects to.
Do you feel let down by the Supreme Court? I mean, it's a majority Republican appointed court, a majority conservative held court, but yet now in two key decisions in Obamacare and now in this gay marriage ruling, they've gone against what that conservative core believes.
And I would use caution. It's a trend. When someone gets appointed to the court, they generally move to the left. You had appointees by Republicans in the past, like Souter, who was one of the most liberal judges on the court, though he was appointed by George H.W. Bush. And so it's not necessarily that a conservative court that made this decision. It's a court that is trending liberal in its decisions. And so do I feel let down by it? No, again, it's what I expected the court to do. I think it's unfortunate. I think it's wrong law, and I think they created a constitutional right that just does not exist.
Ted Cruz called it judicial activism. The only recourse now would be a constitutional referendum, a constitutional amendment. I don't see that happening on this issue.
And I would agree with you. We didn't get where we are today overnight. It has been ongoing, by the other side, an ongoing cultural progression and a lot of activism that has led to this. I think those on my side, we haven't been as good at making our case. We haven't been as good at strengthening the family. One of the things about San Antonio Family Association is we're here to promote and to defend and protect the family. And so I think, in all areas, whether it's combating heterosexual divorce or promoting healthy families, we need to do a better job making our case in the public sphere so that we can change culture and impact them that way.
All right, Brad Wheeler, thanks for coming in this morning. We appreciate you. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Peek Inside Our Game Bag.